Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Wanted to come to you today with my Historathon 2025 second quarter pile of possibilities. Yes, you heard it right. Second quarter is almost here. It's days away. So if you're new to this event, Historathon 2025 is a year-long reading initiative where we promote reading history nonfiction for the whole year. And that doesn't mean that's the only thing you got to read, but that is something that we are promoting, that everybody pick up at least one book per quarter throughout the year and open your minds to some new stuff. And so, like I said, it is done in a quarterly fashion. And so the first quarter, January through March, we cover the years from prehistory to 500 AD. So anything in the ancient times is going to fall under that. And we've been pretty open-minded about this. We've done I read a history book on the dinosaurs last year. Excellent work, and it fell within the time period because it was prehistory. So we went ahead and counted that. And so we're pretty open-minded about how you fit your books in, as long as it's in that time period and it's history nonfiction. Second quarter is April through June, and we cover 500 to 1500 AD. And then third quarter is July through September. I did it again. I did that last video too. July through September, and we cover 1500 to 1820. And then fourth quarter is October through December, and it's 1820 to the present. And so, as I said, this video is all about second quarter. So the big question is, what are you going to be reading? Let me show you what I am going to be reading. Now, I'm going to keep my pile of possibilities this time around kind of small, because I have several books from first quarter that I am attempting to get finished up, and I just don't think, I'm kind of slowly making my way through them because I'll be honest, that time period, that's not my wheelhouse, and so I have to kind of go slow through it. And so I've been going through that slow, and I'm not going to end up finishing them till second quarter gets here. Not on purpose, just because of my pace. That's just how I roll. So I have got, just to kind of let you know what I'm going to be finishing up, I have Mary Beard's book SPQR that I'm working on. I've got 1177 BC. I've got, that's by Eric Klein. I've got, I have an Alexander the Great, and I can't recall the full title or the author, but I do have an Alexander the Great that I'm going to be going through. I don't even know if I'm going to get that started in first quarter. It might be second quarter before I get it started. But main point is, I'm finishing some books up, so I'm going to keep this stack kind of small. I only have 3 of them. So the first one that I really want to get through, because this will help with my teaching next year in one of my classes. Jonathan Riley Smith's book, What Were the Crusades? And this is the 3rd edition of this book. It's a very, very thin volume, so I feel very confident that I can get this one done. Let's see here. Let me read the back cover to you. A few attempts have been made to define the crusade before the first edition of this book was published in 1977. Since then, a number of historians have built on Jonathan Riley Smith's original conclusions, and now in its 3rd edition, this classic starting point for the study of the Crusades, or crusading movement, has been thoroughly revised and updated in the light of recent research, and it's always good when they do that. What were the Crusades? Key ideas and institutions which have been neglected in the past, demonstrates through the analysis of European campaigns that the movement was not confined to expeditions launched to recover the Holy Land or to defend the Christian presence there, and shows that it continued in one form or another into the 18th century. This defines in detail the central concept of the penitential war, a form of Christian holy war. It explores, among other key aspects, causes for crusading, the legitimizing authority of the papacy, recruitment, the nature of the crusade vow and its consequences, including the indulgence, features a new chronology, and brief biographies of crusading figures, both real and imaginary. So original in its conception, this essential guide is a contribution of major importance to crusading scholarship. In its clear and concise treatment of the issues, it remains an unequaled introduction to the subject for students and general readers alike. So, looking forward to that. Like I said, pretty thin volume. I'll be able to knock that out. This third edition came out in 2002. Again, the original first edition was 1977. So an older text, but in newer form. So that's one. Now, here's another one that's been on a TBR list for me for a very long time. I'm going to try to get this done. I'm going to try real hard to get this done. And it's Plagues and Peoples by William H. McNeill. Now, this is not a new book. A lot of people are familiar with this, but it's still selling. I saw it at Barnes & Noble a couple days ago when I was in there. So it's definitely a book that still gets around. This one is originally 1976, and this copyright is 1998. So it's been reprinted a few times. It's from Anchor Books. The other one, I forgot to tell you, the other one was Ignatius Books. So from Anchor Books. So with the rise of newly emerging viruses like Ebola, HIV, mad cow disease, and the like, historian William H. McNeill's landmark book on how infectious disease has impacted and even altered the course of human history is now more relevant than ever. Reissued with a new introduction and a chapter discussing the influence of AIDS on contemporary times, Plagues and Peoples explores the political, demographic, and psychological effects of disease on the human race over the entire sweep of human history, from prehistory to the present. Exhaustively researched and compulsively readable, this revolutionary book offers a radical reinterpretation of world history as we know it. So, I, of course, got this thinking of the Black Plague, the bubonic plague. So that's why I'm fitting it into second quarter. But it sounds like in the text, it's going clear back to prehistory. So a little first quarter all the way to the present. So this could really be read in any of the quarters. So that is another one that I am going to try to pick up and read. Again, not too long a book. You're talking 365 pages. So nothing I can't handle. Man, I got the yawn. Excuse me. So the next one is in response to a book I read last year. So I read for second quarter last year, 1491, and that was by Charles C. Mann, and that covered the pre-Columbian time before Columbus came to the Americas and opened up the New World to Europe. This is 1493, so this is the that was the before, this is the after. So this is the, the Columbian Exchange and the results of that. So 1493, Uncovering the New World Columbus Created by Charles C. Mann. And as you can see, author of 1491. That's the one I read last year. Good book, by the way. This is, let's see, from Alfred A. Knopf. Out of New York, and it's a 2011 book. So it's got a little bit of age, but still a really good study in, the post-Columbian, the Columbian Exchange and what happened. It's got 532 pages to it, so it will take a while. I probably will wait till June to do this. I will wait to the last part because alongside these three books, I've also got at school, I'm teaching the Civil War, and so I'm going to take April and May to hit a bunch of Civil War titles I'm pretty pumped about, and be looking forward to that video because I should be getting that out here fairly quickly since April's right around the corner. But so that's why I'm picking two smaller ones for April and May, and then the bigger one will be in June. So let me read the cover of this one to you. I will try not to yawn. It's my nap time. From the author of 1491, the best-selling study of the pre-Columbian Americas, a deeply engaging new history of the most momentous biological event since the death of the dinosaurs. More than 200 million years ago, geological forces split apart the continents, isolated them from each other. The two halves of the world developed radically different suits of plants and animals. When Christopher Columbus set foot in the Americas, he ended that separation at a stroke. Driven by the economic goal of establishing trade with China, he accidentally set off an ecological convulsion as European vessels carried thousands of species to new homes across the oceans. The Columbian Exchange, as researchers called it, is the reason there are tomatoes in Italy, oranges in Florida, chocolates in Switzerland, and chili pepper in Thailand. More important creatures the colonists knew nothing about hitched along for the ride. Earthworms, mosquitoes, cockroaches, honeybees, dandelions, African grasses, bacteria, fungi, and viruses, rats of every description, all of them rushed like eager tourists into lands that had never seen their like before, changing lives and landscapes across the planet. 8 decades after Columbus, a Spaniard named Legazpi succeeded where Columbus had failed. He sailed west to establish continual trade with China, then the richest, most powerful country in the world. In Manila, a city Legazpi founded, silver from the Americas mined by African and Indian slaves was sold to the Asians in return for silk for Europeans. It was the first time that goods and people from every corner of the globe were connected in a single worldwide exchange. Much as Columbus created a new world biologically, Legazpi and the Spanish Empire he served created a new world economically. As Charles C. Mann shows, the Columbian Exchange underlines much of the subsequent human history, presenting the latest research by ecologists, anthropologists, archaeologists, and historians. Mann shows how the creation of this worldwide network of ecological and economic exchange fostered the rise of Europe, devastating imperial China, disrupted Africa, and the 2 centuries made Mexico City, where Asia, Europe, and the new frontier of the Americas dynamically interacted, the center of the world. In such encounters, he uncovers the germ of today's fiercest political disputes, from immigration to trade policy and culture wars. In 1493, Charles Mann gives us an eye-opening scientific interpretation of our past, unequaled in its authority and fascination. And so I am super pumped to read that. I think that's going to be really, really good. Again, I'm probably going to get to that one in June. That is my goal for that, because these other two, I'm going to do this one in April because I've got track starting on Monday, and we're heading into the last part of the school year, so things are going to start really speeding up. So I got a small, thin volume. What were the Crusades? And then for May, as we finish up track, finish up the school year, I've got Plagues and Peoples. So, BookTube, what are you reading for second quarter Historathon 2025? And more importantly, are you participating? Are you reading your history? Are you getting your history fix? If not, why not? You should. It's good. So, there is the stack, folks. That is what I am going to try to get accomplished. So, what are you reading? Until next time, happy reading.